Hello everyone, welcome to the class of Marketing Management. Today we will discuss about marketing research and its applications. And after the discussion, you will be able to understand what is market and marketing research, as well as the relevance of marketing research in the context of marketing decisions. You will also be able to know the procedure for conducting marketing research and develop various possible uses as well as applications of marketing research. So, first of all, we will start with the introduction. As it's been said that information is power nowadays, this simple click underscores the market control and business success that information yields. Marketing research is about collecting information, and the success of any marketing strategy depends on the information collected by the organization. Marketing research is about identifying who are the possible and the potential customers as well as the markets where the company can successfully implement its market planning as well as the strategy formulated for its products as well as the services. While it applies to a wide range of situations, marketing research gives decision maker the information they need to find solution to business problems, such as how satisfied are customers with their products and service offerings, how will customers react to a decision to change a price or a product, what are service representatives hearing from the customers, and what responses to the competition will bring you success in a given market. Simply put, the solution to most business problems can be found through marketing research. While the foundation of research have existed for thousands of years, the technological advances during the last century have made a wider range of studies possible. Increased internet access in the last 15 years has made research available at a much lower cost and therefore more accessible to organizations of all sizes. As a result, the research field has exploded with new opportunities and methodologies, and organizations have at their disposal than ever before. In the area of marketing, much of the information required for decision making exists outside the firm, like for example, information on why people buy while certain products and no other products, information about the competitor's next move, information about new government rules and regulations which can affect the working of the organization. The marketing manager faces a challenging task in attempting to improve his decision making. The variable involved in the marketing decision being external to the firm make a collection of information which are cumbersome and expensive also. Since the variables are often qualitative and dynamic, their measurement is also difficult and the results are not always accurate. Moreover, many of the variables interact with each other in a very complex fashion, which makes it difficult to isolate and measure specific variables. Thus, the pressure on marketing manager is very strong to correctly choose the most critical decision and seek relevant information about them. The wrong choice of information variable will not only result in unnecessary expenditure but can also lead to decision making process array. The correct identification of variable requires at least a basic understanding of why people behave in a manner in which they do. The manager also needs to monitor what is happening in the marketplace and the general environment of the firm. The only way the manager can monitor all these is through regular market research. So, we have a broad definition of market research. The American Marketing Association defines marketing research as the function that links the consumer, customer, and public to the marketer through information and information used to identify and define marketing opportunities and problems. It generates, refines and evaluate marketing action, monitor marketing performance and improve understanding of marketing as a process. Marketing research specifies the information required to its various addresses, such as design the method for collecting information, managers and implement the data collection process, analyzes the result and communicate the findings and to the required areas, and what will be their possible implications also, they will work upon that. Now this definition may be meaningful to a marketing professional, but equally may be difficult for someone studying marketing to understand only. The definition is easier to comprehend if the 4 ways research can be used are explained individually, like identify and define marketing opportunity and problems, means using research to explore the external environment. Then generate, refine and evaluate marketing action, means using research to determine whether the company is meeting customer needs or not. Then monitoring marketing performance by the organization, means using research to confirm whether the company is meeting the goals it has set or not. And finally, understanding the marketing as a process, which means using research to learn to market more effectively. Although the AMA definition is a useful summary of all that marketing research can accomplish, a simpler definition can be constructed. And according to the dictionary, the word research means to search or investigate exhaustively or in detail. The thesaurus gives us a synonym for research, the word inquiry, which means the act of seeking truth, information or knowledge. So, marketing research can be defined as a detailed search for the truth. Marketing has always had the function of connecting the internal structure of the organization with the external world. Marketing research is a informalization of this role. Research that is conducted can be divided into 2 types, which can be basic or the pure research is conducted to discover new knowledge. When the research is planned and conducted, its application or how the knowledge might be used is not of major importance. What is important is that new information is discovered. After the research has been conducted, how the information can be used is then considered. Universities or very large corporations conduct the most basic marketing research. In applied type of research, the research is planned so that the findings can be used to solve a specific problem. This is a type of research conducted by marketing professionals working either within an organization or for an external marketing research provider. After all, if a business is paying for research to be conducted, it needs result that will show how to solve a problem. Most businesses do not have the time or money to pay for basic research, and we have some additional information on the differences between the basic and the applied research. Now, the purpose and the scope of marketing can be focused on understanding the customers, the company and the competition. These relationships are at the core of the marketing research, and companies must understand and respond to what customers want from their product. However, this relationship is always influenced by competitors and how their products are received by the market. Thus, you must identify the customer, company and competition before developing any research project or research plan. There are several important factors you must consider before you begin any marketing research, which can include your customers and competitors, awareness and image of the product uses, undiagnosed problem with the product, customer desires and needs for new product development. Now, organizations are dynamic entities existing within a continuous changing state of flux and trying to adapt to the requirements of the rapidly changing environment. This is very much applies to marketing research organization, whether they are in-house department or agencies. The last 25 years have witnessed vast changes in the way in which information is handled by the organization of all types and sizes. Along with this revolution in information management, the role of marketing research has undergone substantial changes. The change is not complete, and it is impossible to say that the role of marketing research is now a fixed static entity. Its role is certain to change further in the future. Adapting to changing conditions of the business environment means dealing with new problems and decisions that may not previously have arisen. This accentuates the need for creativity in marketing research to enable new ways to researching new problem situations within their research clients. Likely, much of the day-to-day work formerly carried out by in-house market research departments will be outsourced to specialist research agencies, and this will entail agencies having to have a much better understanding of their client's problem and how research survey data can contribute towards the solution of such problem. Researchers are not primarily data gatherers, though data gathering is essential and the work must be properly organized and controlled also. Marketing research plays a very significant role in identifying the need of customers and meeting them in the best possible way. The main task of marketing research is systematic gathering and analysis of information. Before we proceed further, it is essential to clarify the relationship and differences between marketing research and marketing information system, which is also known as the MIS. Whatever information is generated by marketing research from internal sources, external sources, marketing intelligence agencies consists of the part of MIS. MIS is a set of formalized procedures for generating, analyzing, storing, sorting and distributing information to marketing decision makers on an ongoing basis. While marketing research is done with a specific purpose in mind, with information being generated when it is conducted, MIS information is generated continuously. Although MIS is a continuous entity, while marketing research is an ad hoc system. And while in marketing research information is for a specific purpose, so it is not rigid. In MIS, information is more rigid and structured. Marketing research is essential for strategic market planning and decision making. It also helps a firm in identifying what are the market opportunities and constraints in developing and implementing marketing decisions, and in evaluating the effectiveness of marketing plans. Marketing research is a growing and widely used business activity, as the seller needs to know more about their final consumers, but are generally widely separated from those consumers. Marketing research is a necessary link between marketing decision makers and the market in which they operate. Marketing research also includes various important principles of generating information that is useful to managers. These principles relate to timeliness and importance of data, the significance of defining objective cautiously and clearly, and the need to avoid researching to support a decision already made. Now, marketing research can be used in the following cases. First is the procedures, to know about his product potential in the market as well as the total product, like the new product, various brands, their pricing, market structure and selection of product strategy, etc. Then the business and government also plays an important role. Therefore, marketing research help businesses and governments in focusing attentions on the complex nature of problem faced by them. Like for example, determination of gross national product, price indexes and per capita income, expenditure levels and budgeting, agricultural pricing, the economics policies of the government, operational and planning problems of business as well as the industry. Then we have marketing research agencies also, and the marketing research is being used extensively by professionals to help conduct various studies in market research. And the most prominent agencies are, like for example, we have Lintas India Limited, British Market Research Bureau, in Hindustan Thomson Associate Limited, eSurvey Procom and the MARG. These are some of the institutions or agencies which help in generating information or collection of data in a professional manner. So for all this we have to collect the information, and the procedure of collecting the research related procedure is as follows. Now the marketing research is undertaken to improve the understanding of a marketing situation or problem and constantly improve the quality of decision making related to it. The usefulness of marketing research output will depend upon the way the research has been designed and implemented at each stage of the process. There are 5 steps in every marketing research process. Number 1 is problem identification. Then we have research design, field work, data analysis, and finally report presentation and its implementation. Now we will discuss these 5 steps one by one. First is the problem identification. A problem is any situation that requires further investigation. However, not all the marketing problems need formal investigation or research. Many problems are of a routine and trivial nature which can be solved immediately after ascertaining all the facts of the case. Your distributor wants 90 days credit against the usual 60 days because he is facing certain financial problems. Now, you can immediately check the distributor's record in honoring the outstanding ascertained the guidelines of his problem, and you can make a decision also. Some problems faced by marketing managers are such that they can be handled based on experience and intuitions also. Such decisions can only be made if the manager has been in the line for at least a couple of years. Now, decision made on judgment may not always turn out to be correct, but the problem may not be important enough to justify substantial time. Therefore, we have to take care of the time invested, the money as well as the efforts to spend on solving any particular problem. But when the problem is critical, spending resource to initiate formal marketing research is warranted. Also, when the problem is such that the manager has no experience to guide him, or the decision will have a critical impact on the future of the company, it is worthwhile to undertake research and make decision on the basis of concrete results rather than mere hunch or a judgment. So you must define the problem for any research properly, and it is correctly said that a problem well defined is half solved. A clear, precise, to the point statement of the problem itself provides clues to the solution. On the other hand, a vague, general or inaccurate statement of the problem only confuses the researcher and can lead to wrong problems being researched and useless results will be generated. Since the problem definition is the first stage, useful information generated is likely to unstructured, qualitative, tentative and exploratory. Depending on the result generated at this stage, you would decide whether to extend the scope of research or stop it here. Then the next step is research design. Now, if you have stated your problem correctly and precisely, you should be able to spell out the precise objective for the research. Now you are in a position to prepare your research design also. You are going to achieve the stated research objectives, the data collection methods, the specific research instrument which you will be used by you, and the sampling plan that you will use for collecting data, and the corresponding cost are at the element that constitutes the research design. Then we have step number 3, that is the data collection methods. A great deal of data is regularly collected and disseminated by international bodies, the International Labour Organization, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, governments, and in many agencies including the Planning Commission, which is nowadays known as Niti Aayog, the Central Statistical Organization. Reserve Bank of India is one of the institutions where you can find a large number of data related to the financial field. Then we have Census Commission, private research institutions, and the trade association where we can have data in enormous amount. The kind of data which has already been collected by another organization and not by you is known as the secondary data. This secondary data already exists in an accessible form. It only has to be located. You must first check whether any secondary data is available on the subject matter into which you are researching and make use of it, since it will save considerable time and money also. But the data must be scrutinized properly, since it was originally collected perhaps for another purpose. The data must also be checked for reliability, relevance, as well as accuracy. When secondary data is not available or it is not reliable, you would need to collect the original data to suit your objective. The original data collected specifically for current research is known as the primary data. Primary data can be collected from customers, retailers, distributors, manufacturers, or other information sources. Primary data may be collected through any of the 3 methods, like we can use or we can go for observations, surveys, and the experimentation methods. In the observation method, the researcher gathers information by observing. This method is generally used to observe buyer behavior in a shop or to assess the impact of self-placement and point of purchase promotional materials. Like for instance, you may like to observe the movement of shopping traffic through a department store, the number of shoppers who stop before a particular display, etc. The obvious limitations of the observation method is that it allows observation of only overt behavior. It provides no clues why a customer behaved in a particular manner, what product attributes appealed most to him, whether he would like to buy the product again or not. Now such data can be generated by using the survey method also, and the survey method can also yield information about the socio-economic profile of your customer. The survey may either be conducted in a small group of customers through the focus group interview, or may cover a large number of customers with the help of questionnaires. In the focus group interview, 5 to 15 customers are invited for a discussion on a specific product or a specific aspect of the product, which we can also call as the problem. The customer's comment provides valuable insight into their thinking, which can help the manager to fine-tune his marketing strategy to suit different customer segments. Surveys conducted with the help of questionnaire often take off more the focus group interview, which yields excellent clues for designing the questionnaire. The questionnaire based survey yield not only qualitative but also quantitative data which have statistical validity. The third method of collecting data is through experimentation. This is the simulation of the real life situation, but in a controlled environment in which you systematically introduce certain elements to study their impact. This method is used for finding the best sales training technique, the best price level, the most effective advertisement campaign. However, its use requires an extremely skilled researcher to ensure useful results, as well as this method becomes an expensive method sometimes. Therefore, before selecting any of the three methods, we have to go for its time which will be used or which will be spent in collecting the data, the cost which will be involved, as well as the data accuracy which we are going to collect. Coming on to step number 4, which is the research instrument, and in observation method, as we have already discussed, the researcher may use a camera, tape recorder or tally sheet, which is a sheet in which the number of times an event occurred can be recorded by the investigator or the data collector. Whatever the instrument used, the researcher must ensure that the instrument is appropriate to the occasion and it is reliable also. In the survey method, the most commonly used instrument is the questionnaire. This is a written and organized format containing all the questions relevant to soliciting the required information. The construction of a questionnaire requires great skills. To check that the questionnaire serves the necessary purpose, it should be tested on a limited scale, and this is technically known as the pilot survey. The objective of a pilot survey is to weed out unnecessary questions, questions that are difficult to answer, and improve the phrasing of certain questions which are difficult to comprehend. In constructing a questionnaire, the important points to be considered are the type of questions to be asked, the wording of the questions, and the sequencing of the questions. Each question should be checked to evaluate its necessity in terms of fulfilling the research objective. Furthermore, the questions should be such that the respondent can answer them easily. Questions that require the respondent to answer question about events which occurs a long time ago or about which he does not have direct knowledge should be avoided, since you are not likely to get a very accurate response from the respondent. The question should have direct relevance to the information or to the problem being researched. Too many irrelevant questions will only increase the length of the questionnaire, which would only put off the respondent and also add to the burden of analysis without yielding any useful result. The wording of the question is a very important input in ensuring the correct response. Worded, precise questions are not only easy to understand but also facilitate the purpose and of the research. The wording of the question should be neutral and not attempt to influence or bias the responses. This is especially relevant when information is being sought on non-physical issues such as motivation, attitude, and personal values of the respondent. When including questions about qualitative aspect, it is better to ask open-ended questions rather than close-ended questions, and unstructured rather than structured question. The open-ended question means how would you describe the taste of the toothpaste? Means we are simply giving freedom to the respondent to give his views on a particular problem. Then we have close-ended questions, which means would you describe the taste of the toothpaste as tingling, and the responses are yes and no. Means we are not giving any freedom to the respondent to provide his or her views on a particular question. Then coming on to unstructured question, Unstructured means word association. For accessing toothpaste taste, you may ask the respondent to give his immediate reaction to some of the phrases like fresh, tingling, then mild, pleasant and sharp. And in the structured question, you may like to give the respondent some answer choices to choose from. And these are known as multiple choice questions, MCQs. Which one of the following word or phrase in your opinion best describe the taste of the toothpaste? And we have the options as fresh, tingling, spicy, minty, cool, antiseptic, medical, etc. etc. A technique that combines both the structured and unstructured type of question is question scaling. The respondent is asked to rank his perception of a particular brand, product attribute, company image or any such factor on a scale ranging from extremely good to extremely poor. The advantage of unstructured and open-ended question is that they give the respondent freedom to answer in his own words. And this often provides information and insights about the product which the researcher had not even thought about. The only problem with unstructured question is that of interpreting the results. The same results may lead to a different analysis by different researcher. Unstructured questions also make statistical summaries difficult sometimes. Coming on to the closed-ended and structured question, which are easy to summarize and there is no scope for misinterpretation, but the scope of the research gets limited. The respondent have to choose from already given alternative answers, even though none may exactly match the respondent's perception. The sequencing of the question in the questionnaire should be such that the opening questions create interest in the respondent and are easy to answer. You would not like your respondent to be put off by posing difficult questions right in the beginning. The questionnaire should gradually move from relatively simple to difficult question. The questions should be arranged logically to facilitate the respondent's answer and to confuse him. Personal questions about income, education, the profession should be asked in the end, since many people may view them as a violation of their privacy also. Then we have a sampling plan. Means after preparing your questionnaire or your observation equipment, you have to identify the source of your information. The source is also called the population or the universe. For conducting marketing research, you would rarely gather information from the entire population. Rather, you would select a small group known as the sample, which has all the characteristics of the population, and research the sample group. The reason for not using the population for research are the number of units in the population may not be known. The population units may be too many or widely dispersed, thus making research an extremely time-consuming process. It may also be too expensive to include each population item in the research. When the number of population item is small and known, say the number of cinema halls, colleges, government hospitals in a particular city, you may use the population as your source of information. But in most cases, the representative groups that has all the characteristics of the population and is known as the sample is drawn from the population, and this is used for conducting the research. Having decided to use a sample, your next step is to draw up the sampling plan. There are 4 aspects to the sampling plan. Number 1 is who is to be surveyed, that is known as the sampling unit. Then how many are to be surveyed, which is known as the sample size. Then how are they to be selected, known as the sampling procedure. and finally how are they to be reached, which is known as the sampling media. The choice of the sample unit will depend on the product with which you are dealing and the kind of information you need. In the case of products such as lipstick, if you need information on the reason which motivate a customer to buy your brand, your sampling unit would be the actual customer or the user, that is a woman or a girl. But would the population comprises all the women? Not, because all women do not use lipsticks. You then need to collect information about women who use lipstick in terms of their socio-economic background, education, occupational profile, that is a student, housewife, professional, the age group and the marital status. The sample which you choose must be representative of the universe in terms of all these characteristics. If you want to find out the monthly sale of all brands of lipsticks in a particular market, your sampling unit would be the distributors or the retail outlets which deals in cosmetics. Suppose the product being researched into it is toys for the under 7 age category, who would constitute your sample unit? The child who plays with the toys or the parents who exert a strong influence in the final decision to purchase a particular toy. Here you would have to consider not only the kind of information that you need, but also who is most likely to have it and his ability to communicate and choose your unit accordingly. In deciding on the sampling size, you have to make a trade-off between the desired accuracy of the result and your budget. The larger the sample, the more accurate are the results likely to be, but the cost would also be correspondingly high. Another factor affecting the sampling size is the kind of research that is being conducted. In exploratory research, even a small sample may be sufficient. In focus group interviews and the motivation research studies, very small sample sizes are sufficient because here the emphasis is on qualitative aspect rather than the accuracy of the number. The choice of the sampling procedure is between two kinds, that is the probability sampling and the non-probability sampling. In the probability sampling, each item of the universe has an equal chance of being selected as a sample unit. In non-probability sampling, the researcher selects the unit to be included in the sample. Non-probability sampling is mostly used in exploratory research where a true representation of the universe is not important, but where true representation is important, probably or random sampling is used. Random sampling enables the researcher to make an accurate estimate of the population characteristic, but it is more expensive than a non-random sampling. The cost that you can bear and the degree of accuracy which you require have to be weighed to arrive at a decision. The fourth element in the sampling plan is the sampling procedure. How should you reach your sample unit? Personally, by mail or by telephone? Personal interviewing is most suited when there are many questions to be asked, and it is important to ensure that the questions are understood properly. Thus, whenever the questions are a little complex, personal interviewing should be used. This is also the best method to ensure that correct answers are given, which can be correlated by the interviewer through observation. But this technique also requires a skilled interviewer and a great deal of administration and supervision. Also, it is the most expensive of the three methods. The mail questionnaire is extremely appropriate when your sampling units are distributed over a wide geographical area and the cost of reaching them personally is very high. However, the return rate of mail questionnaire is usually very low, ranging between 3 to 7%. On average, you would have to mail 1000 questionnaires to get back 30 filled up questionnaires. And then the drawback is that you have no way of checking the authenticity and accuracy of the responses. The respondent may fill in the wrong information and you may never be able to correct or detect it also. Then the telephone interview combines advantage of both the personal and mail interviews. It also allows you to clarify questions that may not be clearly understood by the respondent and to reach a widely scattered sample at the relatively low cost. But the obvious disadvantage is that your sample is restricted to the people who have telephones. Also, you cannot conduct very long interview over the telephone. This is all for today's lecture. We will meet again. Have a nice day. Thank you.